back here with a sturdy spirit of justice. Wherein we've done much better in this one so far. Got a little tripped up by a 50-50 shot I had earlier, but we've gotten to the heart of this non-Imus type, who for some reason is still read as question mark. Oh, right, because he only thinks his name is Imus, right? I forgot. It would be absolutely hilarious if it turned out he wasn't this guy and he was just some other random paratrooper who happened to be up there that night, hit his head, and then started doing weird stuff. That would be a very Ace Attorney twist. But anyway, we've gotten into the core of this trial sequence so far. Overturned a lot of stuff, learned a lot of new stuff, and Imus has admitted, I guess I was there at the Inner Sanctum after all. Chatter, chatter, gobble, gobble, speak, speak, whisper, whisper, mutter, mutter, mumble, mumble, grumble, grumble. As I suspected, there were 3 people there that night. You did it, Nick! You weren't wrong after all! Thanks. Mr. Imus, you were the one disguised as Lady Kee'ra that night, weren't you? What? No way, no how. It's like this, oh yeah, I was only there at the Inner Sanctum by accident. By accident? Exactly. And that thing's not a parachute, it's a homemade paraglider. How would you know the difference if you weren't a paraglider? Are you telling me you could fly using that patchwork mess of material? It may not look like much, but it's as sturdy as it can be. I rode the wind like an eagle, going higher and higher from my earthly launching point. Damn. But then something happened that forced me to land at the Inner Sanctum. It got colder, and so there were less thermals? Fewer thermals? So you just happened to land there? You expect me to believe that? No. Please calm yourself, Mr. Wright. Sorry. My best friend here is under suspicion of murder, you see, and it's got me a little uptight. However, the fact that the witness was at the Inner Sanctum is crucial testimony indeed, and it certainly warrants further explication. Therefore, let's continue with more testimony. Yes, please! More lies for me to fix. Witness testimony. Why I was at the Inner Sanctum. That evening, I was enjoying a trek through the night sky with my homemade paraglider. But just as Mount Pony was drawing near, something terrible happened. An accident forced me to make an emergency landing at the Inner Sanctum. Did you hear the Warba'ad? As I landed, I banged my head, causing me to lose my memory. So you see, I ended up at the Inner Sanctum purely by accident. Didn't notice anything especially off about that just then. Mr. Imus, you failed to mention any of this during your pre-trial questioning. No, can't be helped. I mean, I'm just remembering it now. Continue such slipshod testimony, and you will be cast into the hell of hangnails. I didn't realize you were such a cruel bastard, SAHDMADHI. The depths of your bastarditude were hitherto unknown to me. But also, you're the one who brought a friggin' amnesiac on the witness stand, you dingus. Who also seems to maybe be the killer. You have no one to blame but yourself. I feel bad for you too, man. Just like Rafa, because you were just so clearly deluded, but holy. Even you have to see that that was on you. Where you shall have hangnails grown and ripped out for 800 million years. Woo-ha! I think I'll pass on that. Looks like that caught Prosecutor SAHDMADHI off guard. This is my chance to rip his case to shreds. Yes, indeed, something seems very off about this. Cross-examination. Why I was at the Inner Sanctum. So let me just have another read through this. That evening I was enjoying a trek through the night sky with my homemade paraglider. But just as Mount Pony was drawing near, something terrible happened. An accident forced me to make an emergency landing at the Inner Sanctum. As I landed, I banged my head, causing me to lose my memory. So you see, I ended up at the Inner Sanctum purely by accident. I want Maya's thoughts on this, but just before I do, what terrible thing happened? Hold it! Something terrible happened. Exactly! And when I say terrible, I mean terrible! What? Was there something unexpected near the Mount Pony? What was it again? Wait, you don't remember? Let's just say it was terrible. Okay, no, that didn't go anywhere. Maya, what are we thinking? His testimony is like a moving target. Okay, Nick, time for some evidence. You know, really grab him by the scruff of his neck. One thing at a time, Maya. First I have to find an inconsistency. But where there's constantly changing testimony, there are bound to be discrepancies and other issues. So that makes it sound like I am supposed to present something here, the way Maya really forced it, and he went, yeah, just once I find something, rather than saying, I'm not sure I have anything I can present here. So he's saying that one piece of this probably contradicts some new information. Well, let me just push on everything anyway, because I feel like I want a bit more information on this, what I'm hearing here. That evening I was enjoying a trek through the night sky with my homemade paraglider. Hold it! Why were you making it using a paraglider made of things donated by Trust in Me? You were enjoying a trek through the night sky with your homemade paraglider. Oh, maybe that's where I'm supposed to put it. Although, it doesn't actually say in this that it was donated by Abbott in Me, but we were told that earlier, right? Nevertheless, if this is what he glided on, to describe it as his homemade paraglider seems weird when they were Abbott in Me's donation to the sanctum. Or to wherever. The prison, I guess. You were enjoying a trek through the night sky with your homemade paraglider. You didn't go to pray. A devout Khura'In like me can pray anywhere, even while flying through the sky. But I wouldn't recommend you try it. You're bound to end up dead. A paraglider? I didn't see anything like that. That's because the ritual curtain, it blocked your view. You should have seen me majestically soaring between the mountains. Really? What do you think, Nick? Don't ask me. I was really enjoying that flight. At first, anyway. An accident forced me to make an emergency landing at the inner sanctum. Hold it! What exactly was this accident you had? Good question. Now what was it again? Wind? Oh yeah, it was the wind. Not just any wind, but a sudden gale force wind. Made me lose control. The wind was strong enough to make you lose control. Interesting. That would explain, and that would go west to east. The wind that gusted and blew the flickering fire was from the broken lantern side, i.e. west. So it was blowing from west to east. That does hold with how he ended up on the east side. The wind was strong enough to make you lose control. You got that right. Okay then, please add that to your testimony. Gale force winds came out of nowhere, so I made an emergency landing at the sanctum. Right, I'm not certain that's where I mean, they did add that, but I'm gonna see if there's anything else that can be added yet, because I'm not quite convinced that there's anything I can do with that. Well, gale force winds is pretty strong, so maybe they want me to just say that the weather doesn't mention anything of the sort. Actually, that's probably it, isn't it? Calm, clear skies today. Yeah, I probably shouldn't overthink this one. Objection! We have a saying in my country, Mr. Amos. From one lie sprouts another. Huh? What's that supposed to mean? It means someone caught lying will lie again in an attempt to conceal their first lie. In other words, this current testimony is just a blatant lie you're telling to cover your tracks. What did you just say? You claimed gale force winds caused you to lose control, but this newspaper has the weather report for the day of the murder. It says, the area around the inner sanctum will enjoy calm, clear skies today. Why, I do believe it does say that. From one lie sprouts another. That makes sense, but is it really a saying back home? I've never heard of it. Yeah, I kind of made that one up. For real? But it sounded cool though, didn't it? Your Majesty, the witness's testimony contains another flaw, one that's even more fatal to his cause. Oh, so you could have added a little more rhetoric there, Nick. I would have gone, a lie is a seed to the tree of deception or something cool like that. But one lie sprouts another, sure. The witness's testimony contains another flaw, one that's even more fatal to his cause. Case? Wait, what did it? I guess either works. More fatal, you say? The defense will explain himself at once. Mr. Amos claims he was flying up around the inner sanctum with his paraglider, but it would have been impossible to get all the way up there without any wind. Oh, why, yes, I believe you're right. But we know the witness was at the inner sanctum, so... Mr. Amos, how did you get there? And from where? So we're saying it wasn't a paraglider, it was in fact a parachute, probably, and he was just lying through his teeth. So we were right the first time. Without any wind, he couldn't have flown up there from the bottom of the mountain. By process of elimination, the only starting point that makes any sense is... Your Majesty, I believe I have the answer to your question. To reach the inner sanctum, Mr. Amos must have launched himself from here. This other mountain! Take that! Are you insane? That's where he came from? If he couldn't have come from below, the only other option is from above. So you see, Anonymous came down from the Royal Penitentiary number 4. From there, he could have easily reached the inner sanctum by parachute. And that means he might have also killed the High Priest. What? Mr. Amos, were you the third party at the inner sanctum? And the one behind the warning to halt the right that the victim received? Was it you we saw in his final memory? Or you the rebel hunter, Lady Kee'ra? I love his little poses, though. They're very, very eloquent. Hey, Mr. Prosecutor, sir! Help me out here! You did it! You finally left him speechless! Oh, come on, Mr. Prosecutor, man! Quiet, you fool. You should use this time to prepare yourself for what is to come. For a fate far worse than hangnail hell awaits you now. Well done, defense. I must concede this point to you. The witness did in fact descend to the inner sanctum from Royal Penitentiary number 4. Huh? He didn't even put up a fight this time. It's awfully generous of him, suspiciously so. As long as this mystery man parachuting down from the penitentiary exists, Maya seems so much more innocent. So he must have something really big if he's willing to concede that point. But if you are as perceptive as you seem, then surely you've already figured out the riddle. That mystery man is the escapee? The riddle of Anonymous's true identity. Oh, his true identity? Not sure I know quite yet, but I guess I'll have to answer with something. It would seem I am the only one still in the dark here. Would the defense care to enlighten me? Who is this man we've been calling Anonymous? The witness's true identity is... Take that! Is this really him? Only now do you realize the truth. Actually, it was the first thing I presented in this entire case following the seance, I'm pretty sure, but... Well, please do share with us your belated insight. What's wrong, Nick? Why are you holding Mac? Because this isn't going to be very helpful to our case. Isn't it? Oh, because you're going to say that, well, that's horrible. Sorry, that's a rebel. Wouldn't have killed a fellow rebel. But once again, I think we're going to have to leave that assumption in the dust, Nick. It's outdated, just like your favorite autopsy reports. Because this isn't going to be very helpful to our case. Really? Are you sure? Unfortunately, I've got no other choice. That scruffy beard and shaggy mane completely threw me off. But it's all becoming clear now. The nighttime base jump from the mountaintop prison. The precision landing at the inner sanctum using only a homemade parachute. Only a paratrooper, or more precisely, a former paratrooper, could have pulled that off. Well, a paratrooper could have too, but in this case, anyway. The witness is Dat's a rebel. A prison escapee and key member of Dirk's rebel group. What? The witness is an escaped prisoner? Precisely. The police have been scouring every corner of the city to no avail. Meanwhile, here he was under our noses the entire time. Woo-ha! Didn't think anyone would see through my clever disguise. But the witness's charade is not all that has been shattered. Is it, defense? Oh boy, do I hate this guy. Please recall the defense's own words. Whoever sent it clearly meant to threaten the High Priest. The letter said, "Do not perform the rite," but the rite went on as scheduled. I believe that is why the High Priest was murdered. Who do you suppose sent that letter? A person with something to hide. The rebel hunter disguised as Lady Kee'ra herself. He claimed that the real killer was the rebel hunter disguised as Lady Kee'ra. Yeah, and what's your point? What of the witness's true identity? Only a paratrooper, or more precisely, a former paratrooper, could have pulled that off. This witness is Dat's a rebel, prison escapee, and key member of Dirk's rebel group. Oh no! He is a rebel and an escaped prisoner. He could not possibly have been Lady Kee'ra, mortal enemy of the rebels. I don't really see how that makes Maya more suspicious. This guy still parachuted down onto the murder sign at the exact time of the murder, disguised his identity from everyone, etc. No! Now perhaps the witness will enlighten us to the truth. After all, he has yet to refute any of this. You got me. I'm the razor-sharp fangs of the Defiant Dragons. That's a rebel. Oh. When did you get your memory back? Oh, around the time you guys were talking about there being no wind. But you gotta give me credit for making up all that testimony off the top of my head. Are you prepared to tell us the truth now? Well, it's true I parachuted down to the inner sanctum, but I banged my head on impact and ended up unconscious outside the ritual curtain. I like that none of his animations have changed, though. In short, all my eyewitness testimony was a big fat lie. A big fat lie? Don't you get executed for that here? Why would you say that? Oh, and by the way, long time no see, Yudi. Wait, they know each other? Your Majesty. Did he used to be a rebel or something? This filthy rebel belongs in a jail cell. Oh, yes, of course. Bailiff, seize him at once. Seems you really have forgotten the will of the dragon, huh, Yudi? But I haven't, and no dogs of the Khura'In regime are gonna lay a finger on me. Alley-oop! Deploy all available resources. I want all units placed on high alert. You're not police, you don't get to say that. So did he just run or did he jump somewhere? What happened? The escaped prisoner escaped again. The police force has been placed on high alert. He will be caught before long. An escaped prisoner has escaped the law again after giving a ton of false testimony. Talk about a troublemaker. He really put a number on all of us. What was the point of all that anyway? Well, I cannot but feel that entire episode was an enormous waste of time. Your Majesty, perhaps it was not as great of a waste as you might believe. What makes you say that, Prosecutor SAHDMADHI? That's a rebel dropped something as he made his escape from these halls. Oh. Looks like the same kind of paper that the rest of this nonsense was written on. In fact, it's torn in the same kind of shape. Suspiciously. Hmm? That scrap of paper looks awfully familiar. These appear to be direct orders from Dirk. From Dirk? The rebel leader? Oh, but we only have a small quarter of it. Wait, I remember now. Your Majesty, I've seen that scrap of paper before. You have? The scrap of paper That's a Rebel dropped is part of this. Okay, I don't know why I would lose health for this. I brought it up. Take that! And this is... I found it at the scene of the crime. Well, Maya did. It appears to be a copy... Oh, I guess I can't say that. It appears to be a copy of the order that Mr. Rebel dropped. If we put the two together, we should be able to read what the order says. A large quantity of it, anyway. That's cool. That's a really sick shot. Oh, my! And just what does it say, Mr. Wright? I can't read Khura'Inese. Prosecutor SAHDMADHI, if you please. The ignorant lawyer has not bothered to learn our language. Very well, then. Yeah, because learning a language in a week is easy. I do not understand. Well, what does it say? Using the lamplights as a landmark, he was to parachute down to the inner sanctum. Upon the rite's completion, he was to don Lady Kee'ra's robes and make his escape. He did say earlier something while he was still somewhat amnesiac, which I guess that amnesiac bit wasn't a lie. Wow. He said something like, "Are you Lady Kee'ra? I was supposed to do something about Lady Kee'ra," or whatever, right? Upon the rite's completion, he was to don Lady Kee'ra's robes and make his escape to frame the rebel hunter. What? That is how he was to escape from prison. So if I were to assume that Mr. Rebel was the one who killed the High Priest, then maybe it was because Abbott and me tried to thwart his escape plan? Oh, foul lawyer. I'm afraid that is simply ludicrous. I was thinking! But I didn't say anything! Did he just read my mind? I know how your putrid mind works. Unfortunately for you, however, now that the Rebel's escape plan has been revealed, it is clear that That's a Rebel is not the High Priest's killer. Respectfully disagree. I'm not convinced that High Priest was a rebel anymore. And if you knew anything about how I thought, you would have only been seeing Maya and Bonnie in there. You wouldn't have been able to read anything. How can you be so sure? Does that butterfly have a different color scheme than the one we saw last? If only you would use that putrid brain of yours every once in a while. That's a Rebel's plan could not have worked without the help of a certain individual. What do you mean? I am speaking of Abbott in me, of course. Had That's a Rebel simply donned Lady Kee'ra's robes and made his escape alone, he would have been far too conspicuous. But were he by the High Priest's side, the faithful citizens praying in the plaza would have had no cause to suspect anything. They might have imagined it was Maya. It is, therefore, unthinkable that That's a Rebel was the High Priest's killer. So you propose that Abbott and me helped the prisoner from up there escape by parachuting down, which kind of is supported by the flags were donated by him. That he parachuted down outside of the inner sanctum, climbed the curtain or sprinted around into the spring to put on the robes without Maya noticing, and then Maya magicked a dagger out of thin air, identical to the Warba'ad dagger that a rebel was holding, and ran up behind him and stabbed him, and That's a Rebel didn't do anything to stop her? What the hell are you talking about? Ah! So then, you're saying the High Priest was a... Oh, I cannot bear to say it! I am afraid it is so. He numbered among the rebels who threatened our kingdom. I'm growing more convinced that he is the rebel hunter by the second. How could this be? The High Priest, a rebel? There must be some kind of mistake. Satora! Let it go and move on. Accept the truth. It is the only way. And that goes double for you, Defense. Doubly, really. Cease your futile battle now. And why should I? Because I will now put the final nail in the coffin of the accused. Now that we have eliminated That's a Rebel from our list of suspects, there is only one person that still remains. The accused, Maya Fey. Hold it! Hold it right there! Aren't you forgetting something important? Something important? I'm not sure where he's going with this, but I hope I'll understand. Please do explain, Defense. We can't end this trial without looking into the arrow, the murder weapon, the third party. Very interesting question. The third party, we're very much contriving a silly way to say that it was That's a Rebel wearing the robe. Whatever. I don't buy it, but I buy that you buy it, Phoenix. So it's not that. I guess we're going with the arrow because who snuck into Abadimi's home, or indeed was already there. Although that isn't great either because Maya was already there. Like I was saying before when we were talking about who else was in Abadimi's home. It was Abadimi, Maya, Prey, and Beh'leeb. The other one was the murder weapon. Did they say we haven't found the murder weapon? And these tattoos have to come into play at some point. I'm pretty confident it's not the third party, but I don't know which. I'm not sure. I think probably the arrow, because we have unanswered questions about who delivered the warning letter in his house. But of course that makes Maya look worse in some ways. Murder weapon. We don't have very much on the murder weapon. A bladed weapon thought to have been the Warba'ad dagger. The dagger does not appear, is that right? At the scene of the crime, like it wasn't left here. It was absconded with. Either of these, really. But they could just as easily say she stabbed him with a dagger and then threw it over the edge of the mountain, right? Like it's a huge set of mountains. Probably wouldn't find that. The arrow. What about the arrow that was fired? Oh no, health has still not disappeared. What about the arrow that was fired into the High Priest's house? It was simply a means to deliver the warning letter to the victim. With it all being locked up? It's more or less the same conclusion we came to yesterday. You know, I guess you're right. Oh, then this should be just about as right as well. Didn't they already say it was locked up, though? So how is that not worth investigating? It seems there is no need to continue this trial any longer. Yeah, whoa. No, Your Majesty, there is still something important that must be brought to light. We can't end the trial without looking into the murder weapon. What about the murder weapon? We haven't found it yet. What does it matter if it has been found or not? The fact remains the victim was killed with it by the accused. I also fail to see how that would be important, Mr. Wright. This, however, is. I thought we just said the third party was That's a Rebel. Well, okay, I didn't understand a word of what was just said then. And the murder weapon is extremely important to question if we are saying that That's a Rebel was the one in the cloak holding the dagger when Maya stabbed him with a dagger, and the arrow was extremely important when that building was locked. I don't see why I should have lost health for that at all. That's ridiculous. The third party, I guess. I'm talking about the true identity of the Lady Kee'ra we saw in the seance vision. Okay, I'm way misunderstood something. I could have sworn they just said that was That's a Rebel. Had That's a Rebel simply donned Lady Kee'ra's robes and made his escape alone, he would have been far too conspicuous, but worried by the High Priest's side, the faithful citizens praying in the plaza would have no cause to suspect anything. Your theory was just that he was the one in the robes and the thing, so why... What? If that wasn't That's a Rebel, then who was it? But he just said it was That's a Rebel. Objection. Why are we saying it wasn't That's a Rebel now? That matter has already been resolved. It has? What's he talking about? It is as I have maintained from the start. There was no third party in the seance vision. Objection! So what the shit was all that about? Him in the robes a minute ago. Why did they say that if I was supposed to not think about that? What? Oh, wow, it actually tells us how to say that. It's Satora. That's weird. And I don't see how the murder weapon and arrow are completely irrelevant either. But there was another Lady Kee'ra there besides Maya Fey. We all saw her. Satora! What the? I can't do my finger point! Oh boy. It is time to let it go and move on. Your fate has already been sealed, much like your arm. This hardly seems fair. I agree. I do like that between Apollo and Phoenix, they've got a different thing that happens when they get hit with the beads. I wonder what happens with Athena. Although I would have expected... Well, I guess because there's sort of a speak no evil with Phoenix, hear no evil with Athena, and see no evil with Apollo. Apollo's was kind of closer to his eyes. It was up around his forehead, and then Phoenix is on his hand, which I guess he uses to declare things, so that's the speak no evil. So I guess for Athena, it would have to go more like around the center of her face to get her ears, or maybe around her sort of collar to get Widget. Anyway, this hardly seems fair. It is quite simple once you consider where the victim and the accused were at the time. If the victim was near the spring with his back to the accused, what would he see ahead? Besides the water itself, there is nothing but the Warba'ad statue. Oh, sorry, that was the judge. Besides the water itself, there's nothing but the Warba'ad statue. Precisely. The Lady Kee'ra we saw in the seance is the Warba'ad statue draped in her sacred robes. No way! Yeah, no way. There's literally no way. The accused wanted the false Lady Kee'ra to appear in the seance vision before she came from behind and stabbed the victim with the dagger in a reverse grip. But why would the accused want to do something like create a false Lady Kee'ra? And why would Abadinmi turn around? To show it to the victim as he was being slain. And what reason would the accused have to fool the victim she was about to kill? It was not the victim she was trying to fool, but us after the seance vision. It was this very court itself. Come again? Suspicion would not fall on the accused if it looked as if another Lady Kee'ra was there. And the defense was foolish enough to fall for it and claim it was a third party in disguise. Are you saying... I am. It was all a cleverly wicked scheme perpetrated by the accused. A scheme in which she sought to use the seance vision to mislead us. In fairness, that is one of his most solid comebacks thus far. It's a little ridiculous, but this can't be happening! What a face you are making, defense. I am surprised you are taking this so hard. After all, did I not clearly state a while back that you were chasing after naught but a deluded fantasy? Something has occurred to me, you see. And your allegations of a third party are but a deluded fantasy. Yeah, I remember well enough. You're telling me he knew this is how it would turn out all the way back then? And that he was just waiting for the most effective moment to spring it on me? Because I don't believe that for a second. Do you understand now? I have had you dancing in the palm of my hand this entire time. It can't be! This is an outrage! You took our royal priestess's sacred divination seance and used it to commit this most foul and despicable murder? No, I did nothing of the sort! Maya. Nick, it's not true! I didn't... Objection? Cease this ugly display. Your fate is sealed now that the facts have been exposed. Your Majesty, the time has come to convict this criminal who only seeks to taint this sacred hall. Indeed. It seems this trial is over. Hold it! Does the defense wish to offer up yet another counter-argument or something? The accused is not the killer. And, here's why. Now what do I do? I've got nothing. It would appear that the defense has run out of arguments to make. I thought for sure that the rebel was the killer. The only person with a possible motive, the one dressed as Lady Kee'ra, has vanished. And I've got nothing to use against Prosecutor SAHDMADHI's argument. I think the only other way it could be is Tarust was the rebel hunter, and he was trying to, one of the rebels was trying to nip this reward money in the bud by taking him out while he was engaged in, unarmed and engaged in ritual. And I've got nothing to use against Prosecutor SAHDMADHI's argument. Damn it! I can't lose now, not like this! Very well, then I shall now render my verdict. Wait! Please wait! I'm begging you! It is time to let it go and move on. This trial need not be drawn out any longer. The defense has failed to counter the charge filed by the prosecution. In accordance with the law, I invoke the Defense Culpability Act against the defense. Now then, this court finds the accused, Maya Fey, and the defense, Phoenix Wright, guilty. Emma, bust us out last second, please? Or is Maya gonna channel Tarust in me last minute? Come on, Maya. Your Majesty, please forgive the interruption, but... What is the meaning of this? Your body has been found. In the Plaza of Devotion, Your Majesty. Double murder? What's this? A body. What happened now? And we found this sticking out of the victim. It's almost like we should have looked into where the murder weapon was at. Why, that's Lady Kee'ra's Warba'ad dagger! Lady Kee'ra! She's returned from the Twilight Realm once more! She has come to defeat the rebels! Peace! Well, it would seem the dagger that was once lost has now been found. I have one more thing to report, Prosecutor SAHDMADHI. Yes? This dagger has someone's fingerprints on it or something weird. It bears the fingerprints of Maya Fey on it. What?! But why would Maya's prints be on it? I cannot believe it, yet it must be true. Is something the matter, Prosecutor SAHDMADHI? This trial has run its course and the accused's guilt has been firmly established. However, it would seem the defense was right about one thing. I was? You claimed that the murder at the Inner Sanctum had been carried out by the rebel hunter masquerading as Lady Kee'ra. I did say something to that effect, but what of it? Prosecutor SAHDMADHI, are you suggesting what I think you are, that it was Maya? I believe the true identity of the rebel hunter, who has been masquerading as Lady Kee'ra, is none other than the accused, Miss Maya Fey! What? What? I mean, she's got the muscles for it, but also what? No. I realize how shocking this must seem. Looking back, however, I now realize that there was much that pointed to this fact. The rebel-hunting Lady Kee'ra was first sighted about 2 years ago, and the accused first came to our kingdom 2 years ago as well. Why, the timing matches perfectly! This is where the trinket's gonna come into play. Someone's gonna be like, I heard that she had her little trinket playing, and it's gonna be like, well, it was the other one, the person she traded the trinket to. Because since when did Zeh'lot come? Didn't they say he like, showed up here 2 years ago as well? But there is more. That warning letter was found in the High Priest's bedroom 3 days before the rite, despite his house being locked up tight that night. So that was also something worth pursuing. Ha! Funny how the first two that I picked turned out to be important. Heck this court. Heck this court straight to heck. Objection! How does that prove anything? Objection. It is difficult to believe an intruder could have found a way to enter such a secure house. However, the accused was known to come and go freely there. Mainly to prepare for the purification rite. Oh! Abadimi was an important figure with a ton of duties, including training acolytes. He was really kind, even to a foreigner like me. He even invited me over to his house whenever I was between training sessions. The accused could have easily left the house unlocked for herself without anyone noticing. No! Lady Kee'ra's warning updated in the court record. Only someone capable of entering the priest's home could have delivered it. But Maya was in here while this body was found, and it's in the Plaza of Devotion. There were a lot of people there. I guess they were all in prayer, though. But wait, unless the body was Zeh'lot, it better not be. Because that throws my super secret solve into question. If we assume that the accused was Lady Kee'ra, that more than establishes her motive for killing the High Priest. I've got a feeling this case will stretch on for another day, long enough that we hit noon and Zeh'lot can come to testify. Yes, the victim was secretly an insurgent bent on helping the rebel escape after all. Precisely. That made him a target of Lady Kee'ra's wrath. And after killing the High Priest, she then unleashed her divine justice on another rebel. Wait, it wasn't the rebel we just found. It wasn't that's a rebel who just got murdered, is it? That would be crazy. So it seems the scope of this case has expanded. We now have 2 murders perpetrated by Miss Maya Fey masquerading as Lady Kee'ra. Well, then we have to delay this trial until we prove that she killed the other one. If you're gonna be like that about it. If Miss Fey is indeed a serial killer, it would affect the severity of your punishment. In light of this, I believe this second murder must be investigated before we can proceed. Yes! As you wish, Your Majesty. This will give us a chance for our health to regenerate, if nothing else. From all the nonsense that wasn't my fault. Okay, the first one was kind of fair, because I was jumping the gun and assuming that we already knew it. We were already suggesting Lady Kee'ra was the killer, when the court didn't know that. Those second two on the multiple choice list, not my fault. Maya Fey, I hereby charge you with this second murder. May your defiled soul feel the weight of your sins. A new murder charge on top of a guilty verdict? Poor Phoenix. Hey, this is good news, though. We have another day to investigate-ish. It seems the defense will live to see one more day. Talk about hanging on by a thread. Come tomorrow, a far more terrible punishment awaits you. You do get health back in between days, right? I think so. I hereby suspend these proceedings so that the second murder may be investigated. Until the conclusion of this new investigation, this court is adjourned. Phew! But who was killed? Say it weren't the kiddo. What's his face? What's his name again? Oh, but your guy. Right, well. I wouldn't say we made that one comfortably. We made it more comfortably than case 2 anyway. Let's begin the investigation then, shall we? May 11th, 1:03 p.m. Temple. What do I do now? I can't believe Maya and I were actually found guilty. We're dead folks walking. This trial need not be drawn out any longer. The defense has failed to counter the charge filed by the prosecution. In accordance with the law, I invoke the Defense Culpability Act against the defense. Now then, this court finds the accused Maya Fey and the defense Phoenix Wright guilty. Ah! Mr. Wright! Oh, thank God you're still alive. Albie, I saw the whole trial. What's going to happen to Miss Maya now? I'm worried about that too. But right now... Oh, he didn't even mention he was worried about himself. I have one more thing to report, Prosecutor Samadi. Yes? This dagger. It bears the fingerprints of Maya Fey on it. Right now, I need to focus on the next trial. The murder of Acolyte Zeh'lot, right? Ah, damn, it was him? God damn it. my beautiful, beautiful plan, in theory. At least the jury's still out on that one, so to speak. The two murders are most likely connected. If I can get to the bottom of Acolyte Zeh'lot's murder, it might give me the ammunition I need to overturn Maya's guilty verdict. What I want is the autopsy of this, of your man. At least he was alive at the time, the arrow was shot, so that mystery can still be solved by saying it was him. I suppose. It might give me the ammunition I need to overturn Maya's guilty verdict. Let me help you investigate! I want to assist you any way I can! I appreciate it, Albie, but we're talking about a murder. Yeah, but it's gonna be hard for a foreigner to investigate this on his own. You have a point there. I wish I knew what to do. Oh, I guess Maya's still in holding. Damn it! Thought we might get to have her on our side for this. Isn't that your benevolence? Princess Rafa? Oh, it is you again. The dead lawyer walking, guilty of abetting a murderer under the Defense Culpability Act. See, she hasn't lost any of her charm. Why the long face? I thought you'd be glad I was found guilty under the DC Act. I am in no mood to take joy in your suffering. Hey, good. I was starting to worry you had no humanity or something, for I was unable to defeat you and had to leave the job to others. I failed in my secret duty as the Royal Priestess. I guess that answers my question. Have I misunderstood the voice of the Midama yet again? This cannot be! Thump. All I did was defend my client. I can't bear to see her looking so sad like this, though. Your benevolence... Your benevolence? Oh, barbed head. I thought you had already begun your journey to the Twilight Realm. I'm not dead yet. I still have an investigation to do. For tomorrow's trial. What's this? Do you mean to say you have not given up yet? He's gonna invite her to keep an eye on him, just so that she won't be so sad. That's right. I'm going to prove my innocence tomorrow. But why? Why do you refuse to give up? I cannot fathom such obstinacy. Investigate all you want, I care not. You really don't mind? But aren't you worried that a lawyer backed into a corner by the DC Act might do something desperate, like forge evidence? What's this? If left unsupervised, I'd be free to do whatever I wanted, you know? Okay, now to see if she takes the bait. Yes, I see your point. Barbed head? Yes? I know what happened yesterday. You perpetrated some sort of fraud or other misdeed while I was not watching. Huh? That explains why I misunderstood the voice of the High Priest's soul. Yes, I've got the hiccups, Barbed Head. Make any comment about it and you'll be executed forthwith. Yes, of course, that is the only explanation. I was just trying to cheer her up. Now she thinks even less of me. I mean, mission accomplished, though. I must not allow you to sully our sacred hall of justice with your misdeeds ever again. Therefore, today I will be monitoring your every move once more. I will not fail to spot your misdeeds this time. This time. The moment I see anything out of the ordinary, I will send you straight to prison. And you, boy, do not throw your lot in with this foreign devil. But your benevolence... It's okay, Albie. You don't need to worry about me. I'll be back before you know it. But first, I should probably lighten my load a bit. Albie, would you mind holding on to some evidence for me? Yeah, of course not! I'm always glad to help, so we're gonna get rid of some stuff that's no longer relevant for the second half of this. I wonder which stuff. Unnecessary evidence unloaded onto Albie. That has to be illegal. May the Holy Mother's blessings be upon you! Thank you, Albie. Now then! Oh wow, we got rid of a whole page. We still got the newspaper, Truss autopsy, the inner sanctum photo, which, because we still haven't solved the mystery of why this was shoveled out, how this got broken. My statement about the red spring, because we haven't talked about that at all. The warning letter with the added detail Omer and someone entering the home could have delivered it, so the arrow and the envelope are out of the picture. Maya's charm, of course, because this hasn't come into play yet, and the diagram of where they were said to be. So what we lost was the arrow, the envelope, the piece of parchment detailing the rebels' escape plan that had the blood on it. We lost 8 pieces of evidence because that's how much a page is. The diagram that shows the height differences between the mountaintops, the wanted poster, and I'm forgetting the other 3. Oh, the parachute and the Wright's guide. And last but not least, I forget. I don't always appreciate it when they remove the, quote, unnecessary evidence, unquote, because sometimes I feel like it can be a bit misleading, implying that all of these will come into play when sometimes they don't. I think it's happened before that they don't remove a piece of evidence, but you don't actually ever use it again. But also, it's kind of nice when you have a huge pile of evidence that you have to sift through, because then it means you're less likely to get it by luck, I suppose. But in this case, I appreciate them removing a lot of this stuff, because now we're saying we don't need the Wright's guide anymore because we're not going to be questioning the order of those events again. That's kind of them to remove those things, I think. And additionally, with the poster of the mountaintops, because we're saying he parachuted down from there, we've solved that. It's good. So indeed, we do have a part 2 to this. Oh, interesting. We've also removed That's a Rebel from the book here? So are we just saying he's out of the story at this point? That's weird. Because he's only not a suspect if we assume that he and Indy were both rebels. And even then, that's not proof. That's just, it suggests that he wouldn't have a motive to kill him. We didn't even see Emma Skye during any of that testimony. Anyway, but we haven't proved that he's a rebel. We've just suggested that it's quite probable. It's probable, although I'm not still convinced, he isn't Lady Kee'ra. I don't know, who knows. But that is weird. I guess that's their way of telling us empirically that, in spite of being there, That's a Rebel didn't kill him? I guess. Anyway, it looks like we've got a lot more investigating to do. Next time on External Spirit of Justice, we kind of eked by that trial court case. Oh my, wow. These hiccups. I'm not counting the seance vision nonsense. That's not my fault. The first point of health we lost on when I presented the wanted poster instead of the threat letter from Lady Kee'ra. Fair play, I jumped the gun there. That's on me. The multiple choice one, not only did I think the other 2 were more important than the third party, but they also just implied that That's a Rebel was the one in the cloak and then he ran away after. So I don't know why they said it like that. Not my fault either. Clearly. Oh, that's all for now. Next video going up to the channel is going to be some more Fire Emblem 3 Houses Are Verdant when Assassin's Only one, but we're not going to be seeing that for too much longer because we're pretty damn far in that game. But that is all for now. Thank you so very much for coming around to this episode of External Spirit of Justice. Hopefully you'll see you around. Admiral's going to be out of here now. Peace! Hiccups. It's still steaming, me boy. You may well, but it's not a good idea. And again, maybe approaching a tepid warmth there, but good job, you two.